finishing my dragon's feet and adding colour to the legs. You want to find out how I did this? Stay tuned. Hey, it's Pam from Ben McFuzzylugs, and this is stage 4 of our needle felted dragon. I have finished off sculpting his feet and added the colour to his legs using this gorgeous, almost iridescent purple fibre, which I reviewed on Wednesday. If you're interested, have a wee look at that. And if you're interested in any more of my needle felted dragon, I have playlists of the step-by-steps so far. This is the point now he's really starting to come together, apart from the head. I think I'm going to leave this to last just now. Sometimes when I'm making a needle felted sculpture, I'll start with the head because that gives me a really good idea how well he's going to be when I'm finished. In this case, I'm finishing with the head, which makes me a bit nervous because it's going so well and it's going to start to come together really quickly now that we're starting to add colour on him. But I could totally mess him up with the head. So if you tell me in the comments below, which way around do you start when you're making animal sculptures? Do you do their head first? Do you do their body first? Do you do a mix of everything? Because there's no rules in the order you go. I just do what I'm feeling like at the time. If I felt like working on his legs for a bit, I might go up and who knows what I'll be working on next. I've not got it planned out. But let me know if there's a strategy, if there's a method to your madness, or if you just felt however you feel on any given day. But let's get into the video and find out how I got to this stage with my dragon. Okay, so first what I'm doing here is I'm making for the toe, I'm just felting basically a ridge, just always felting into the same direction of the end to kind of blunt the end of a piece of fleece. This is going to be the end of his toe where the skin, where the talon grows out of it. So I want this nice and flat and firmly felted first of all, because we're not going to be able to felt it so easily once it's on him because we can't felt into the paver pole talons. So just felting backwards and forwards, spending a good bit of time to get a good blunt flat edge on this so it's nicely felted. Just pulling away any excess that I don't want. And the good thing, because the toes are on wire, I can just manipulate the toe into a comfortable position so I can felt this on, wrapping it around with the blunt end, the bit we've just felted, facing down the way. Then I'm going to make enough of these for every talon and just felt on his toes like this. And then I'm just going to wrap and cover the feet with a small amount of fleece and just spend a real good bit of time felting these, so felting the extra fleece you've just put on into place, and just thinking of the shapes that you're going to need for the toes, thinking always like the circularness for where the toes are, and just felting and keeping the direction of the needle in the direction you want the final surface to be, well, perpendicular to it, as I've mentioned in loads of my other videos. And as you can see, totally felting away until you get what you think is a nice shape for talons. So now we're just going to be using this wonderful purple fibre to wrap the legs. And as you can see, it's not in the kind of roving, nice strips. It's just in a big chunk. So breaking off the small pieces and then gently, gently pulling them out. Now, if you pull too hard, then what's going to happen is it's just going to split. So I'm just pulling it to make it longer and narrower, to make more like a ribbon, almost a roving, so that I'm able to wrap it around the legs. So just starting at the bottom, you start at the bottom or the top, and just wrapping as tightly as I can around his legs, trying to cover every bit of it I can, and then just going to tack that in place. And we'll do the absolute exact same for the other one, splitting off a piece of fibre, stretching it out so they're all more in one direction and it's a nice ribbon, wrapping that down. And you can, if you're having trouble holding it, as I've done here, just tack it a little bit with a needle felting needle and then wrap it all the way up the legs. Again, because he's on a wire, we can manipulate the legs. Now what you can see here, I've felted his left leg on the right hand side there. I've felted his left leg for quite a bit of time to get it firm and smooth, and you can see sometimes when you're felting it down it gets thinner and patchy in places, but
don't worry, we can sort that out nice and easily. So done both legs. You can see the big difference when you felt them. Spend a good, this was about half an hour felting, and then I'm just adding a small extra strip of fleece to cover it up the bits where it's got thinner and patchier, just when I've really felted it down. So don't worry, no matter how nicely you wrap it, there's going to be bits that go a little bit patchy, and you just fill in the gap and then spend a real good amount of time felting it again. See, I'm just picking off small amounts of fleece just to fill in any little gaps, and felting for a good, again, another 20-30 minutes, just to make sure this is all nice and firmly felted and it's a nice kind of smooth surface for the dragon. You can also, if you're seeing holes where the needle's gone in and you don't like them so much, you can actually run the needle along parallel to the surface, and that makes it even smoother. But that's something I'll think about later on when I'm nearer finished him. And there you go, there's his legs and his feet finished.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me. As ever, it's been great fun sharing this with you. What's been your favourite bit so far? Have you learnt anything new? Have you tried the paver pole talons yet? I totally recommend that. They turned out so much better than I was expecting. Right, but thank you so much for joining me. I do videos like this every Thursday, so we're going to be doing this guy until he's done, but I also have playlists of other more beginner exercises and more intermediate and full needle felting tutorials, and once this guy's done I'll be working on smaller tutorials again. So if there's anything you'd like to learn, leave a comment below, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and come back every Thursday. Thank you. Knew that would happen. Get out of my hair. I so knew I'd get my hair stuck in the dragon. Ha ha.